You walk into the grocery store. Fluorescent lights still buzzing. The music's still playing. But something's off. The shelves aren't empty. Not yet. They're just thin. That brand of peanut butter you always grab? Gone. The rice aisle looks like someone drove a truck through it. The coffee section has 3 options and they all cost $19. You stand there with your cart, and for the first time, you don't feel like a shopper. You feel like a scavenger. And this isn't some post-apocalypse fantasy. This is a Tuesday. This is already happening. Most people think a food crisis looks like a famine. Empty fields, starving crowds on the news, dramatic stuff. That's not how it starts. It starts with price tags. It starts with smaller packages. It starts with the stuff you love quietly vanishing from shelves while nobody says a word. By the time CNN runs a segment on it, you're 6 months too late. There are 5 foods right now, staples that billions of people depend on, that are on borrowed time. And the reasons behind their disappearance go way deeper than bad weather or supply chain issues. Those are the words they use when they don't want you to panic. Today, we're peeling that back. We're going food by food, and by the end of this, you'll understand exactly what's coming, why it's coming, and what you can do while the shelves still have something on them. Oh, and stick around for the 5th one, because that's the one that personally changed how I stock my own pantry. Let's get into it. Number 1, the brown gold. Chocolate. Yeah, I know. Of all the things to worry about in a collapse, chocolate sounds ridiculous. Hear me out. Cocoa isn't just a treat, it's a $130 billion global industry, and it's collapsing from the roots up, literally. Over 60% of the world's cocoa comes from 2 countries, Ivory Coast and Ghana. That's it. That's the supply line for most of the chocolate on Earth. And both of those countries just got hammered by back-to-back droughts, a swollen shoot virus that's been wiping out trees for years, and aging farms that nobody's replanting because the farmers can't afford to. In 2024, cocoa futures hit over $10,000 a ton, the highest price ever recorded. Ever. That's not a blip. That's a trend line shaped like a cliff. Here's what most people miss. Cocoa trees take 5 years to mature. 5 years. So even if someone planted 1 million trees tomorrow, you wouldn't see a single bean until 2031. The shortage isn't coming. It's already here, baked into the timeline. That chocolate bar you bought last week for $1.50? Enjoy it. In 2 years, it might cost $5, if it exists at all. For preppers, the move is simple. Cocoa powder, vacuum-sealed, stored cool and dry, lasts practically forever. And in a grid-down scenario, a cup of hot chocolate isn't just calories, it's morale. Don't underestimate morale. Wars have been lost over less. Number 2. The morning drug. Coffee. Let me put it this way. There are 2 types of coffee beans that matter, Arabica and Robusta. Arabica is the good stuff. Smooth, flavorful, what you actually want to drink. It accounts for about 60% of global production. And Arabica is a diva. It needs a very specific temperature range, very specific altitude, very specific rainfall. A 2-degree shift and yields crater. Brazil produces 1/3 of the world's coffee. In 2024, they had their worst drought in 90 years. Vietnam, the 2nd largest producer, got crushed by El Niño. Colombia's crop dropped over 10% due to irregular rains. And a study published in Nature Climate Change found that by 2050, the land suitable for growing Arabica coffee could shrink by up to 50%. 50%. That's half the farms. Gone. Not because someone bombed them, because the weather moved. Now here's the part that should keep you up at night. No coffee required. When coffee gets expensive, countries start hoarding. Export bans, tariffs, the same domino effect we saw with wheat after the Ukraine conflict. Coffee becomes a geopolitical weapon. And if you think people are cranky now without their morning cup, imagine a full-scale SHTF scenario where caffeine withdrawal hits an entire population simultaneously. Headaches, irritability, inability to focus, an already stressed society suddenly running without its favorite chemical crutch. Stock green coffee beans, unroasted. They last years in proper storage. You can roast them in a cast iron pan over a fire if you have to. And in a barter economy, coffee might be worth more than ammo. I'm not joking. If you're learning something here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Not for me, for you. Because one day, this kind of knowledge might be the difference between scrambling and being ready. Algorithms are weird. If you don't subscribe, this video vanishes into the void and the next person who needs it never finds it. All right, number 3, the silent famine. Rice. Rice feeds half the planet. 3.5 billion people depend on it daily. It's the single most important food crop on Earth, and it's in serious trouble. Rice paddies require enormous amounts of water, enormous, and the aquifers that feed those paddies in India, Southeast Asia, and China are being drained faster than they refill. The Ogallala Aquifer in the U.S., one of the largest underground water sources in the world, has dropped by over 30% in some areas. India's groundwater is in free fall. When the water goes, the rice goes. But here's the part that nobody's talking about. In 2023, India, the world's largest rice exporter, banned the export of non-basmati white rice. Just like that, overnight. One executive order and 25% of global rice exports vanished from the market. The price of rice spiked globally within weeks, and India hasn't fully reversed that ban. They can do it again. Any country can. This is what a food crisis actually looks like. Not empty fields. Policy decisions made in rooms you'll never enter by people who will never go hungry. For long-term storage, white rice is one of the best calorie-dense foods you can stockpile. Properly sealed with oxygen absorbers and Mylar bags, white rice lasts 25 to 30 years. 30 years! That's not a pantry, that's a legacy. We're past the halfway mark, and honestly, the next two are the ones that shook me. Let's keep going. Number 4, the dying fruit. Bananas. Every banana you've ever eaten is basically a clone. The same genetic copy, the Cavendish variety, over and over. Every single one. No variation, no biodiversity. Just one type of banana replicated across every plantation on Earth. And that is a catastrophic vulnerability. There's a fungus called Tropical Race 4, or TR4. Think of it as a plague designed specifically to kill Cavendish bananas. It spreads through soil, through water, through the boots of workers walking between fields. There is no cure. There is no fungicide that stops it. Once it's in the ground, that land is done for bananas, forever. Not 5 years, not 20, forever. TR4 has already devastated plantations across Asia, Africa, and South America. It reached Colombia in 2019. It's been confirmed in Peru. It's moving toward Ecuador, which exports more bananas than any other country on the planet. The exact same thing happened before, by the way. The banana your grandparents ate, the Gros Michel, was wiped off the face of commercial agriculture by a nearly identical fungus in the 1950s. We replaced it with the Cavendish. There is no replacement for the Cavendish. This has happened before. We just forgot. A civilization that can't learn from a pattern it already lived through is a civilization asking for the lesson twice. And this time, there might not be a substitute waiting in the wings. For preppers, banana chips and freeze-dried banana slices are decent short-term stores. But the real lesson here is about monoculture. Any food system built on a single genetic line is a house of cards. Diversify your garden, diversify your pantry, diversify everything. And number 5, the one I promised you, the liquid lie, cooking oil. This one changed the way I think about food storage entirely. Because cooking oil is invisible, it's in everything. Every meal you cook, every processed food you buy, every restaurant meal you eat, and the global supply is fracturing. Start with olive oil. The Mediterranean, where over 90% of the world's olive oil is produced, has been in a mega drought cycle. Spain, the #1 producer, saw its olive oil output drop by over 50% in 2023 compared to previous years. 50%! Prices doubled, then doubled again. A liter of decent olive oil in parts of Europe now costs more than some bottles of wine. But olive oil is just the visible crack. Sunflower oil, the second most traded cooking oil globally, 46% of it came from Ukraine and Russia. Came. Past tense. That supply line got shredded by the war and hasn't fully recovered. Palm oil? Indonesia, the world's largest producer, has slapped export bans on it multiple times to protect domestic supply. Soybean oil? Tied to the same drought cycles hammering South America. Every single major cooking oil is under pressure simultaneously. That has never happened before at this scale. And here's the twist most people walk right past. Without cooking oil, your food storage plan falls apart. You can have all the rice and beans in the world. Try cooking them without fat. Try making them palatable. Try getting enough calories when everything is boiled and bland. Fat is 9 calories per gram. Protein and carbs are 4. Oil isn't a luxury, it's a calorie multiplier. It's the difference between surviving and slowly starving on a full stomach. Coconut oil, stored in a cool, dark place, lasts 2 or more years. Ghee, clarified butter, can last even longer. Crisco-style shortening in sealed containers is another option. I personally keep a rotation of all 3. It's not glamorous, but glamorous doesn't keep you alive. So why does all of this matter beyond stocking a pantry? Here's the bigger picture. Every one of these 5 foods is connected to the same web. Water depletion, climate instability, geopolitical conflict, monoculture fragility, export nationalism. These aren't 5 separate problems, they're 5 symptoms of one problem. The global food system was built for efficiency, not resilience. It was optimized to be cheap, not to survive a shock. And shocks are coming faster now than the system can absorb them. The grocery store you walked into at the start of this video, that store runs on a 72-hour resupply cycle. 3 days. That's the buffer between normal life and empty shelves. 1 disrupted shipping lane, 1 export ban, 1 cyber attack on logistics software, and those fluorescent lights are buzzing over nothing. The people who understand this aren't paranoid. They're paying attention. There's a difference. Paranoia is a rational fear. Preparation is a rational response to visible data. And the data right now is screaming. You're still here. That tells me something about you. You're not the type to scroll past a warning and forget it by dinner. So do something with this. Check your pantry tonight. Count your days of food. If the number makes you uncomfortable, good. Discomfort is the first step toward being ready. I'd actually love to hear from you on this one. Drop a comment and tell me, what food are you most worried about losing access to? Or if you've already started stocking up, what's the one item you refuse to run out of? I read these comments, and honestly, I learn as much from you as you do from these videos. One more thing. If this is the kind of content that makes you think, subscribe. Because the next time a shortage hits, you don't want to be the person Googling what happened after the shelves are already bare. You want to be the person who saw it coming and was already ready.